Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to another FPL Jedi show. Very good morning. We are into game week 28, another big game week. So would like to welcome my co-host Azmin. How's your feeling?
Morning. Yep, and yep. I'm sorry, guys, you're a bit early today. Hopefully, everyone, people managed to tune in, and yeah, but we all pumped, ready to go. Lots of things to think and talk about. So let's go.
All right, good. We are going early. We want to cover more because we already know instead of 6 teams playing double game week, we have now another 2 teams, which is Chelsea and Norwich. So we have 8 teams playing game week 28. Most probably, up to now, people are going to put into their thinking Chelsea assets. Okay, they have favorable fixture. So let's jump straight to what the fixture will be for this week. Okay, we can see here, okay, the fixture for this week, and especially we want to recap 8 teams that are going to play twice, which is Norwich, Chelsea, Southampton, Newcastle, Wolves, Watford, Leeds, and Aston Villa. We have plenty of choices this week. If you're wildcarding, good. You can cover all these teams, but also need to remember they also going to be double game week next week, and then blank game week 30, where it is confirmed that only 4 fixture will be played with 8 teams. That our planning should be starting from this week, definitely. So let's go through the matches. Okay, tonight at 8:30, Leicester will play against Leeds. Leeds with appointed as a new manager, JC March. So plenty of thinking. We are quite uncertain with how Leeds gonna line up, but obviously the key players should be playing. Then at 11 p.m. we have like 5 matches: Villa versus Southampton, Burnley versus Chelsea, Newcastle versus Brighton, Norwich versus Brentford, and then Wolves welcoming Crystal Palace to Molyneux. Then at 1:30 a.m. Liverpool will be playing West Ham. And then on Sunday 10 p.m. Watford will be playing Arsenal. And then at 12:30 a.m. we have Manchester derby matches between City and United. Last but not least, Spurs versus Everton on Monday night. So this is the matches that we're going to cover on the team news, which all managers have given their press conference yesterday. Let's go to the team news. We start off with,
Let's do it.
okay, Leicester versus Leeds. Or what's the latest news for both camp?
Okay, so for Leicester, we know that from the tweet, James Madison apparently picked up a little problem, but he may be okay. So the way Roger said that it's possible that he may end up in for me, he may end up playing, but it's a bit of a uncertainty there. Um, um, the yeah. So James Madison, whom I had last week, and but on the free hit, and he scored, so it's fine. But it's frustrating for those of us who have Leicester, because who don't have Leicester, I should say, because they are playing Leeds, and we know that Leeds is the most, they're conceding the most goals lately. Tapi now Leeds under new management, so we're not sure what's going to be the situation. Okay, aside from Madison and Pereira, we know James Justin is also having issues, so he may recover for this one, but I don't. At the most, he'll probably be on the bench. Obviously, the people who are still out is Castagna, Johnny Evans, Ryan Bertrand, and who's that guy? Fofana. Okay, so those, which they've been out for a while, so nothing new there. For the Leeds side, of course, the best news is that Patrick Bamford was in training today, as per the tweet. So I don't think he'll start though. At the very most, he'll be on the bench. In Jesse March's, the new coach for the new manager for Leeds, among the things that he mentioned was he felt that some players weren't fit because they were being played even though they hadn't really recovered yet. So it seems like he was criticizing his predecessor Bielsa about how, but then when I look back at the predecessor, it's just that sometimes he just had no choice. It wasn't that he was trying to force people to play, but with all the injuries that they had, sometimes if he felt it was okay, then they threw them in. Obviously it wasn't good for recovery wise, but sometimes he just didn't have a choice. Anyway, so it'll be interesting to see the team Leeds put up, and it was fortunate for Leeds, at least on the FPL wise, that they have a single game, whereas where other and they play a team that only has a single game, because obviously if Leeds was part of a double gamer, then people would jump onto their opponents as well. But because Leicester versus Leeds, Leicester only has one game, so it's not as.
So if let's say Leicester have playing twice with this news, James Madison I doubt also will not entice managers to pick him.
Yeah,
so maybe still good news for us to actually not bringing
delay. Yes, correct. Yeah, and Vardy, obviously he's returning from injury, so we're although he did score, but we don't know if he rushed in. I don't know. To the starting lineup, I'm not so sure.
Okay, so just thinking whether if let's say managers, we are definitely not sure how the lineup will be, but a lot of managers are thinking bringing in Rafinha, who's, to be fair, is the talisman of the team. Do you feel that if let's say managers want to bring him Rafinha in for this double game week, what do you feel?
So this is one of those burning questions, and one of the things is that Leeds themselves, even Leicester doesn't have a double game, but Leeds do have a double game. So they play against Leicester and Aston Villa. So Leicester, I can see the appeal because both Leicester and Aston Villa have problems with keeping clean sheets. Having said that, in the last game week, suddenly Leicester kept a clean sheet against Burnley, and Aston Villa kept a clean sheet against Brighton. So whether this is the start of an uptick in fortunes, we're not sure. It does. Leicester did look better against Burnley in terms of the defense. They managed to hold off before scoring 2 late goals. Aston Villa, on the other hand, I'm not so sure because Brighton themselves were in a bad run of form. They have now lost 3 matches in a row. So the jury's out as to whether Aston Villa's defense has improved enough. But if you have Rafinha already in your lineup, fine, that's fine. But if you don't, I'm not sure you consider bringing him in, even as part of a free hit or a wild card. And the reason is that we just don't know what's going to happen. Now, obviously, Rafinha is talented. He's probably the most talented person in the squad there. But we don't know how Jesse March is going to look at it. We all claim that we all say that he's the talisman. That's us. That's the fans. And one thing I know that when a new manager comes in, I think one of the first things he's going to do is try to look at the issues that they have and try to fix those problems. And we know that one of the main problems with Leeds is in the defense. So who's to say that Jesse March isn't going to focus more on improving that defense first, which may mean at the cost of the attacking side. Yeah. So for me, if I don't have Rafinha, I wouldn't bring him in for this week.
Okay, let's go to the next match, which is Villa versus Southampton. Both are playing twice this week, and a lot of managers are eyeing from both assets. What's the latest news?
Okay, so for Aston Villa, let me just Go back. The only thing is that everyone's as mentioned, there's nothing aside from those. So no injury news, so nothing new there. I guess so in terms of the formation wise, we know that they adopted a diamond formation in the last in the match against Brighton, which may have helped them to win against Brighton, where Coutinho was at the tip of the diamond, meaning Ramsey and um, who's the McGinn.
India.
Well, yeah,
McGinn.
no, it
Okay.
wasn't India. I can't remember who the other guy was. But the main thing was that Watkins and Ings were playing together up top. Yeah, and Watkins scored. So I fully expect Watkins to go on from there. It's probably helping him in that formation rather than him being stuck wide there. Okay. On the Soton side, so we know Kyle Walker-Peters who scored 9 points to those who had him last week. Unfortunately, he has a little problem with his hamstring, but I think a lot of people had it on a free hit, so they may not have it now anyway. They still may have Livramento. So other than the people in that tweet, yeah, so it's nothing additional there. We saw during the FA Cup that Roya came in and scored, again, so uh, I can see the frustration for those who have Roya, again, scoring outside, not scoring in the actual Premier League. So, but here he is again. And I think for one of the reasons for Southampton's improvement is the return of Stuart Armstrong. We've seen Stuart Armstrong for a few weeks now, and he's clearly one of the movers in that midfield in terms of creativity, in terms of moving the ball along and helping to create that chances. So JWSP is fine, but Stuart Armstrong is the game changer there.
Yep. Looks like I'm not sure whether KWP is fit enough to play at least the first game this week. This news might be good news for Livramento to play. Maybe he has chance to play twice. I'm not too sure, but there is always chances.
Yeah,
So
because the
I
problem is that Perrot, the French wing fullback, is also can also play in Livermento's position. But with KWP being out, he may be there, and I think Livermento. I have Livermento, so I'm hoping that his position is safe.
we are definitely both hoping for the best, and hopefully he can play both games. Yep.
Yep.
Next game, Burnley versus Chelsea. Chelsea have a favorable game week. This is where that managers are targeting. Burnley has been frustrating Essex last week. See, we all know. So what latest news for both teams? Eh?
Okay, so for Burnley, obviously, is that Ben Mee and Sean Dyche again using that phrase "touch and go." Okay, so previously he did that with Cornet in the first match, and Cornet ended up not playing for that match. He was on the bench. So with Ben Mee, we'll see. Whether his application of the term "touch and go" is the same. So obviously, a lot of people were frustrated that Burnley were terrible in the double game week last week after doing well with harder matchups the week before. So Eric Peters is the other additional person who's ruled out. And I feel that is quite important in terms of to make it better for Chelsea. So obviously Chelsea are the team people are looking at to bring in double games. Okay, so on the Chelsea side, so SP wasn't in training, Reece James was training. So apparently there's a lot of focus on Reece James, and obviously for us FPL managers who want to pick him up. But one thing that's not mentioned here is Chalobah. Chalobah looks like he's out. Yeah,
Okay.
he has a groin injury, so it looks like he's not going to play either. So which will make it easy for those of us who are looking at picking up Rudiger. So it looks like picking up Rudiger is a safe play.
Yep.
Ziyech and Christensen might play. They were seen in training, so we're not sure. But yeah, it's just SP and Chalobah looks like they're definitely up. Thiago Silva, people are looking at bringing him in. Yeah, Thiago Silva looks like he's fit as well. So, but with Chalobah, then that the centre back pairing of at least who's that? Rudiger and Thiago
Silva.
Silva might be a safe play there.
Okay. Um, as you all know, a lot of bandwagon of Chelsea asset, especially on the defense. So, like Azmi mentioned, Rudiger minutes are the most secured. But Reece James is another player that manager is thinking. I think we can safely say Rudiger is the most secure, but as we all know, James can be the most explosive among Chelsea defense. Yep. Okay, let's go to Newcastle versus Brighton. Newcastle will have back-to-back double game week. Okay, we can see already how reviews that there's a lot of reporting injury. So maybe Azmin can highlight among those assets, and also Brighton.
So okay, so for Newcastle, the biggest injury issue is ASM, of course, and he has and Eddie Howe's press conference says he hasn't trained fully, but a late call will be made. For me, that's too dangerous for me to want to pick up ASM now. Although if he said he was really fit and available, then I would definitely have considered him, because of Newcastle's double game week 28 to 29. So no other key issues with Newcastle. Obviously the Trippier, who people are looking at, who would have wanted to pick up, is out as well. Ryan Fraser, Willock, these are players that are currently gaining a lot of traction, as well as Shard.
Yep.
Yeah, but of course the problem with Newcastle is that they don't have a game in game week 30. So it's something that you need to plan for, because if you want to have a decent number of players for game week 30. Okay, Brighton are the same. They're not playing in game week 30 either. So other than the ones that mentioned in the tweet, nothing, no other, no others other than what's mentioned there. Um, So Adam Lallana, we don't know Adam Lallana returns to starting lineup. I don't think so. If he's only starting training, they've got enough in midfield there. I guess I like following Brighton just to see whether or not Lamptey plays. So it's clear they're managing, making sure he doesn't get injured again. So, and they don't have a double game, so I expect Tarek
Yep.
Lamptey to play this one.
Okay. Fair enough. I think the one that attracting managers to pick Newcastle player, especially on wildcard, is Willock. We all know he has form, okay, for the past few games that has been involved in goal or assist for Newcastle. The rest, like ASM, is the one that we are not sure. So that's why I think he's not someone that managers should be bringing in. Okay, next game, Norwich versus Brentford. I think this is intriguing match to me, because this is a match that really they need to turn up for relegation battle. Norwich have double game. Okay, this week I'm not sure whether you're thinking to bring in any asset of Norwich, but what's the latest news for both teams? I mean,
Okay, so I guess this is that matchup where wow, if you could have players in both sides, that'd be great, But it's Norwich and Brentford are both at the wrong side of the table. Plus the fact that both sides only have one game, so it makes it hard for us to pick up.
Norwich ada dua. I mean, Norwich.
See,
Norwich.
it's that bad that Norwich are that bad that I didn't even look at the fact that they have two games.
Norwich
Thanks.
versus Brentford and Chelsea. Yep.
Yeah, so Norwich, Brentford. Yeah, so Norwich, obviously, these aren't players that we pick anyway. But the key players are still around. But Brentford has a fully fit squad available, and one thing with Brentford is there's a possibility Christian Eriksen might start.
Okay.
So that would make it interesting. But the problem with Norwich and Brentford is they don't really have a lot of games that's outstanding compared to other squads, and judging by the current form right now, you wouldn't want to pick them anyway.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. So only Josh Da Silva, who's no good anyway. So banned for 3 games, no difference.
Yep. So nothing here to
Yeah.
entice me.
So Norwich played Brentford, and then the second opponent is Chelsea, and
Yeah.
it's just not attractive. Not can't see us
Yep.
picking anyone.
I see some of the season managers like FPL Salah who has Tony and gonna take him out for Bruges, something like that. Okay. Next game, Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Wolves have double game week this week. Both matches at home. A lot of managers are looking at Wolves asset. So what's the latest news for Wolves and also Palace?
So it really for Wolves it really is only Semedo who's really out, and no other concerns. So they one of those teams who are fresh. Of course, eyes on Raul Jimenez, who a lot of people fans calling for him to be dropped, but then he I expect him to return to the starting lineup. At the end of the day, he is a focal point of Wolves' attack, and even though he hasn't been as consistent as he was last season, but it's inevitable. I expect him to start. On the Crystal Palace side, aside from Joel Watts not being available, yeah, that's pretty much it. So Nathan Ferguson, who has a hamstring, but not with picking him anyway. Crystal Palace only have 1 game, and we know we've seen the issues of picking their players. We don't know who's going to play. Although Michael Ollie seems to be doing well recently, but again, he's probably not for being considered for this week.
So with Semedo out most likely for 1 month period, I can see here that last game Hoover did play for that game, and he's priced at 3.9 million. So cheap, man. Should we
Yeah.
consider him?
Yeah, you can consider. Wolves have. I mentioned Palace is only having 1 game, but Wolves themselves have 2 games. Um, yeah, and they play in game week 30 as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so definitely, yeah, I think you can consider him, but I do feel there are better options. I like, I do like Altnori more despite the risk of other players in his position, but I feel that it's his position to lose, and a lot of people also have Sa, the goalkeeper. Definitely, he's one to look at, considering Wolves are the only team that play 2 home matches this week.
Okay. Let's go to the next match, which is your team in. Both team Liverpool and West Ham only going to play single game week this week. So definitely there's not a lot of traffic, or maybe I'm not sure. We'll see later what's the most transfer in, transfer out for this week. So what's latest news for Liverpool and West Ham?
So I don't know what he meant when he said that. We have players who are not available. Pretty sure that nobody will tell me differently. But I guess hopefully it just means the players that he's mentioning, that we're mentioning there, which is Thiago and Matip. So just those two. So hopefully it is just those two. But of course, we also know that Firmino is not going to be available as well. So people who might play are Curtis Jones and Naby Keita, but it'd be interesting to see. So now Liverpool have got Jota back. So you got Jota, Diaz, Mane, and Salah. So how's Liverpool going to line up? Liverpool, obviously, they also have to juggle the Champions League commitments as well. So we'll have to see how they go. But in the FA Cup tie, Minamino started that one, so obviously we don't expect him to play, and only Mane came in as a sub late in the game, so it's fine. This was against Norwich midweek. Let me just check.
We saw also Jota back in the squad, right? And play.
Yeah, Jota started that one, so whether or not he'll play this one, yeah, it's a risk that he might be saved for the Inter Milan match, which will happen next midweek. Yeah. Having said that, Liverpool only have 1 game this week, so people already have Salah and TAA. I don't see people bringing in another Liverpool player for this week. Well, of course, the question is whether or not Salah should be captain, even though he only has one game. All right, so on the West Ham side, yeah. So Ryan Fredericks, Arthur Masaku, again, these aren't players that we normally pick anyway. Um, Other than that, Agbona, yeah, Kufal is still out because of hernia issues, which means that Ben Johnson will uh, continue in that right back position. Uh, Yarmolenko, the Ukraine striker, is also ruled out for personal reasons. Obviously, with the issues that we have, they've let him have a break. We're not going to go into there. Yeah. So other than that, everyone's fit. Antonio scored midweek, even though they lost against Southampton, and he
Okay.
looked good. So is this the beginning of another streak of Antonio scoring? We don't know, but again, West Ham only have one match, so
Yeah. Without the double game week, so I
and
don't
against
think.
Liverpool is just not attractive enough for bringing him.
Yeah. If you still have Antonio, I don't know. Maybe it's time to move on, but especially against Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next match, Watford versus Arsenal. Watford do have double game week this week. Okay.
Yep.
But it's against Arsenal and then next against Wolves. So not too
Yeah.
sure about that.
Yeah.
So what's latest news for both teams?
So I'm really not a big fan of picking out Watford players here, and yeah, what's one thing not mentioned here is Ismaili Sarr has a hamstring issue, so
Oh,
he's not he, and that's for me that's the key player, and I was confident of Watford scoring in at least one of these games. I'm not so confident anymore with Sarr out. Um, Other than that, yeah, so that's the main key with Watford. All the other important players are well. Kiko Firmino, as you mentioned, is available. On the Arsenal side, yeah, um, ESR was a doubt. He had the illness, but apparently he's now available as well. So it's just Tomiyasu who I don't think he will start yet. Other than that, everyone's fine. So your key players of Saka, those who still have Ramsdale, they should be okay. And even though they single game, I wouldn't put it against the chances to score in this game.
but particularly we want to say mentioning like both of us, like we have both goalkeeper in this match, Foster and also Ramsdale. Foster do have playing twice, so that's where we gonna go, right, man? The players that playing twice.
Yeah. The thing with Ramsdale, if I briefly considered having Ramsdale as the single gamer instead of a double gamer, but then I figured that I'm worried Arsenal might be the team that they just score one goal and concede um, and don't get a lot of saves, which will hurt.
Okay. Yeah?
Uh,
Yes, correct.
yeah, so
So
yeah, I'll
Watford will
risk.
definitely enjoy more of that. What Foster already remind us, he can produce like 10 points last week.
Yeah, and if you remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but Watford, he did have a penalty save against Arsenal in the reverse fixture, and even though
Ah,
Watford lost, he still ended up with double digits. So of course, lightning won't strike twice, but it's good enough for me to want to keep Foster for this game.
okay, good. We go, man, to the Manchester Derby matchup. United versus City. This isn't the biggest game this week. Although they are playing only single game, that's why the attention is not to this fixture. But what we can report for both teams, man.
So in the real football world, this is the fixture of the week. But in the FPL football world, it's like no one's no one's really interested. So on to Manchester United, Edinson Cavani seems to be back. There's a lot of people annoyed, a lot of fans annoyed with him because he seems to take a holiday whenever he wants to, so which is not good for Manchester United as well. But fine, if, he could at least be part of the group, which means that at the most he'll be on the bench. Mason Greenwood, of course, we know due to those issues he's ruled out. McTominay is available again, so that's fine. Manchester City, the biggest news is that Ruben Diaz has been ruled out with a hamstring issue. So apparently he may not be available for 4 to 6 weeks. For me, that's not a big thing for Manchester City because John Stones is going to step in, and
Yep.
John Stones is as reliable as they come for. And which I'm surprised. I was surprised that he became the second choice. I thought he was going to be first choice together with Diaz, but currently it's Laporte there. But it goes to show there's quality in the City ranks, so it's not an issue. So everyone else is fine. Of course, there's a worry about Cancelo, whether or not he'll start. So I think he'll start. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
I
an
think
issue.
he'll start. It's definitely.
Yeah, just whether or not he'll score
Okay.
FPL points. Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Okay. I think we go to the last game of this week, which is Spurs against Everton. Spurs did win 4-0 against Leeds last week. So
Yeah.
even though they do not play twice, but a lot of managers need to think to put into their thinking because Spurs gonna play next week, double game week, and then they will have a game in game week 30. So that's why people are interested in this team. So what's the latest news for both?
Yeah, so last week they didn't play double games in the FPL World, but they did play midweek for the FA Cup and ended up losing 1-0 to Middlesbrough. So it's always very annoying. So it does raise questions. The emergence of Kulusevski, is that how you pronounce his name? Yeah, it's interesting. Now
Yep.
Moura is back again. So the question is, will Moura displace Kulusevski in the lineup? So based on Conte's lineup patterns, I feel that Kulusevski's spot is still safe because he'll continue playing as long as they're showing some form. Yeah, so I think Kulusevski will continue to start. On the Everton side, again, this doubt on DCL, which for me is really annoying because I have him in my team. And Everton are also due to play a double game week next week.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Correct.
that's why want to sell him. I had to think twice. But I've been burned by DCL before, so I'm not so happy. Yes, but looks like I may still keep him anyway. Yeah, other than him, uh, Gray might play. He had an illness, so we're not sure. He may be available. Michaelenko might be available as well. He had a dead leg. Other than that, the people who will continue to be ruled out are Mina, Delph, Davies, and Godfrey. So that's it. Yeah. So
Okay.
so now the question is, which Spurs team is going to turn up for this match?
That's why it could easily big game for Kane and Son, or it could be a quiet one for Spurs. That's why. But in terms of form, Everton also not as great as it can be. They're also in mixed form, so still great to bring any Spurs asset for this week. Okay, we just want to have a look, man. Like I mentioned, top transfer for game week 28. We can see their top transfer in this week. Surprise, surprise, is Salah. Still, managers has a lot of managers do not have Salah. That's what I see it. Even though single game week, they are bringing Salah top transfer in this week. And the second is Rudiger, like you mentioned. Managers are looking at Chelsea favorable back-to-back fixture this week. Then Adams instead of Broja, okay. Jimenez, and then Willock. So what's your comment?
Yeah, that Salah one is still as interesting as ever. So I didn't expect, there's still a lot of people who still didn't have Salah, but it's probable because with they may not have had him because of the FA Cup, the League Cup final, where he which meant that there were
Okay,
no
fair.
Liverpool didn't play last week, so now they bring him back in. I
Alright.
don't know. Yeah, it's interesting, but we don't know they'll captain him. I'm not so sure. Rudiger was the most popular Chelsea defender of choice, simply because he's clear to start and he does provide a goal threat. Yeah, I've been part of a debate myself as to how which Chelsea defender to bring in. I'm surprised Reece James isn't higher here, but I guess because he's returning from injury, so there's still a bit of doubt as to whether or not he'll get the start, two starts. Adams. Yep. So I was mentioning midweek how he's the unsexy pick in the Southampton. Compared to someone like Broja who looks really driving and looks always looking for something to happen. But and then it's Adams who's goal scoring. But I can't deny that Adams is the one in form, and he didn't play in the FA Cup tie. He didn't start in the FA Cup tie. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. He should be raring to go with this one. Uh, yeah, Jimenez, Willock is kind of expected. So Willock is a question a lot of people were debating Willock over Fraser in terms of Newcastle picks, and looks like Willock is winning at the moment. But again, they have to plan for this, knowing that they don't have a game in game week 30.
Yeah, you can see that who's going out to find all these players. We can see Bowen and Antonio from West Ham. West Ham does not play any double game week in 28 or 29, but they do play in game week 30. All right, if you still want to hold them. Bruno and Ronaldo is going out. Man United doesn't have any double game weeks. Also for Whitehorse, who has um, performed in game week 26, but flop in 27, and maybe manager already said time's up for you. So that's why he among the top 5 transfer of this week.
You just know that with Weghorst, everyone's selling him. Of course, like people like me or us who had him on a free hit, we don't. So they're not part of these transfers out, of course, because they were part of a free hit. But you just know that this is where they'll suddenly pop up with goal. when people don't have him, and that's the thing with the FPL community, that we can be quite based on our teams rather. So we all frustrated that he didn't score midweek last week, or even in both games last week. So
Yeah.
now because of that, we're now expecting Burnley to not score at all, and also because as we can see, we're all picking up Chelsea defenders. But Burnley can't bounce back, but obviously Burnley have a couple of injury issues at the back, so of course I expect them to concede. But in the front, if Cornet who continues to be fit, and Cornet almost scored a goal midweek, so I think they can present a good goal scoring threat. So Bowen Antonio, it's not unexpected. The thing is, they don't have. I'm not sure I don't think they have any unscheduled match that needs to be postponed at this point.
I don't think so. No.
So they don't have any matches in areas, so they're not going to be part of many double game weeks in the future. It's a shame about people missing Bowen because he's been such a good asset in the past few months. Yep. But yeah, reality is reality, and of course they are playing Liverpool this week. Yeah. And yeah, so that's it. So Fernandes obviously faces Manchester United. Ronaldo faces Manchester City. So it's not unexpected because you want those funds to be distributed elsewhere for double gamers. Yeah, so that's expected.
All right, man. Then it's up to our transfer plan, man. This is the team sheet from last show. I don't know what's different now. Maybe you can share.
Right. So I haven't made any moves yet, but I've pretty much settled down to what I want to do. And one thing is I want to do is bring in our Kai Havertz. Yeah, and so Kai Havertz is my player of choice that I'm planning to bring in. The question is how I'm going to do that. I don't have much funds available. So there are two options that I'm looking at. One is I sell Cancelo and Bowen and bring in Kai Havertz and Marcus Alonso. So Marcus Alonso is a bit of a controversial pick, considering the communities all vying towards Rudiger and James if they feel that he's fit. Yeah. I just feel that Alonso is more safe in the starting lineup at this point, which is I know it goes against the popular opinion.
Yeah,
it's quite an unpopular opinion, but he was rested totally in the FA Cup tie. Yeah, so which I've heard improves his chances of starting both these games. I'm not too worried about the next game week 29. I feel that I can afford to bench him against Newcastle. Again, another controversial opinion, but that's a story for the next game week. So I'll take a -4, and I have just enough funds to do that. So the alternative is that I don't go for Alonso and I go for Watkins instead, which is buying, selling Calvert-Lewin for Watkins. So I could do a Watkins and, but instead of selling Bowen, because I don't have enough money to do that, I would sacrifice Mane. So
Okay.
the reason that Sadio Mane, I'm even considering sacrificing Sadio Mane, because I have a bit of concern about rotation. Obviously, they have the Champions League midweek as well. So, and Jota's back, and we've seen that when with Diaz looking like he can be a regular starter. So I'm not sure how will Sadio Mane continue to play in the center, or if Jota is back, because Jota will definitely play in the center. And will Sadio Mane shift to the left, or in place of Diaz, or will he get benched? So Diaz offers a bit more width, and he's faster than Mane. Mane has slowed down a bit recently, and obviously a bit slow. But then Klopp still seems to value. That's why he plays him in the center. So that's another reason. And another reason why I'm looking at that, selling Mane and Calvert-Lewin instead, is that it frees up funds to eventually possibly buy Kane for the next game week. Kane has double games, although not going all in Liverpool instead, but going for distributing the risk a bit and picking up Kane. Yeah, so
Yeah, I like
that's
the idea.
so that's the other option that I have. And also this second option also appeals to me a bit, simply because I don't trust this Calvert-Lewin injury issue. Yeah, of course he has 2 games, but will he be ready? I'm not so sure. So I don't know if we'll find out anything before the deadline. So those are I've pretty much narrowed it down to those 2 options at this
So
stage. So
you're more inclined the second option lah, which is DCL and money out for Watkins and Havertz.
it's 50-50. Yeah.
It's 50-50.
If I'm confident that Mane will start both games next week, then I may go for the Alonso Havertz option. Obviously, the question there then becomes, who do I bench there? And
I guess is Saka or Cancelo if you do that.
No, because I'll be selling Cancelo for Alonso, so I definitely want to play Alonso.
Oh, okay. If that's the first option lah, option. So I think Saka, unless you want to bench Mane.
See, that's the thing, because I feel Saka's that matchup is good enough against Watford, and if there's one annoying person there who I'm happy to bench even if he does play a double game, can you identify who?
King.
Yeah, you go. That's the one. King has done nothing. He's done nothing. And even in the eye test, he's been failing that eye test as well. He's been quite bad. So if I do go for Alonso Havertz, King is the one I'll be sacrificing, putting on the bench. If I went for Mane and Calvert-Lewin for Watkins and Havertz, then I'll just bench Cancelo. Yeah, as the one gamer. Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. You'll take -4 for it. I think your team is set up, and you could take advantage also next week, which Keane has Everton has double game week. I understand there is a reason for you to keep DCL, but is uncertain, right? So I think is something that I will do if, let's say, I'm in your position.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yep. Okay, good. Let's go to my team. Like I mentioned, I do give a thought of wildcarding for during midweek. I'm not sure. I read some articles. I've seen some YouTube channel from various season managers like Football Hub, Scout. From there, I've seen that they have like similar teams like mine, so and they just do like transfer and hits. So maybe that's the way I go. So you can see here, I have Foster. I play Foster, and then I have same back line like Azmin, TA, Cancelo, Digny, and Livramento. I do have Saka, Salah, Rafinha, who a bit uncertain, but definitely I'm this in this position who has him, and I will play. Gray, why Gray there? I'll explain later. King and Ronaldo. I don't know. Ronaldo still stuck with me. It's obvious he is the one to go. He's the one gonna fund my move this week. I have only one transfer because I'm free hitting last week. So in my thinking, I will take -4. I have two options. Whether to my first option is the one that I'm thinking, which is Ronaldo and Gray out for Jimenez and Son. Jimenez do play this week twice. Son is for the future. Both players are playing in game week 30. So that's where I'm thinking. Bring in players that play doubles and then play in 30. The other option is bring in Kane, who's likes for likes replacement for Ronaldo, and someone like I do not have funds for Coutinho. That's why I cannot change Bowen for Coutinho. I cannot do that. So that's why Gray there for maybe like Willock, who has back-to-back double game week. But unfortunately, he doesn't play in game week 30. So I can just take advantage of the 4 matches he's going to play for the next 2 game weeks. So that's my thinking right now. What do you think? You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, again, because we always trying to take into account for game week 30. So whoever we want to bring, we have to prepare for the fact that they may or may not play in game week 30. We know all the matches now for game week 30, but it hasn't deterred us. Well, it doesn't deter me from picking up Chelsea this week, simply for the matchup.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't deter you either. So Bowen stays in your lineup, right?
Most likely.
Okay, yeah. Bowen, yeah, the good thing about Bowen is he does play in game week 30 and he does play against Spurs, which I feel is a matchup that he can score goals as well. But how many double gamers do you have for this one? Would you have?
Currently I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6.
But King, is nothing certain with him.
The thing with King and with Sarr being injured, I think it reduces his chances of being benched. So he will start. I think.
So if let's say I bring in another 2 is 7 double game week players. When I see it next week, I have around 6 double game week players also, and then somewhere in game week 30, I have like 7, 8 players depending on my move. So
okay. So what about the captaincy? Can I ask you about that?
Okay. This week, currently I'm on Salah, but that's the conundrum, right? Captaining, I've been experiencing captaining double game with players, but you've been captaining a single game with player. Maybe this week I try your method. see how it goes. Salah is the most consistent one. West Ham is something not as formidable as the past early season. West Ham did lost against Southampton in midweek, and they did play a strong team, mate, to be fair. Yeah. Almost a strong team. Antonio did play and so on.
True. Yeah.
So, like you mentioned in midweek, maybe this could be an advantage to Liverpool, who has a rest. So we know Salah has been consistent.
Okay. So if you didn't captain Salah, who would you captain?
It could be one of the double game weeks player, which is I have right now Rafinha. I cannot bring in Coutinho. That's another option. Jimenez also uncertain. Wolves is not particularly strong in attacking, and Jimenez, if I say his stats also in terms of double digit also is not as explosive as others. So
yeah. So underlying stats, of course, Salah is way and above. Even though West Ham is in the top half a over, but Salah's stats are way above that. He can, the potential for him to return as good as a double gamer is there. Yeah. So yeah, let's
Okay,
see how we go.
that's why. So I'm inclined more Son and Jimenez. What do you think?
The thing with Son is that in the FA Cup, he ended up playing as well, and he looked terrible. He looked tired. So I'm a bit worried there. Now the good thing with the Spurs match is they only play on Monday night, so
Yeah,
hopefully that's enough recoup.
recovery lah.
Yeah, but I know you want to bring in will help you for game week 30, but I think it's wrong for you to ignore Chelsea.
Okay, fine. But if
Yeah,
let's say I'm reading Chelsea assets, is definitely in defense first. I won't
yeah,
be taking a lot of hits. If let's say I
yeah.
take -8 hits, is for a Chelsea defense, which is most likely Rudiger.
Mm.
But also is something that an issue. Which one do I take out? It could be Cancelo, but Cancelo has Manchester United, fair. But next week against Crystal Palace, we know Cancelo can easily haul. So I'm not sure.
Look,
I'm not too
look,
sure.
look. Frankly, Cancelo can hold this week against Manchester United.
So that's
I
why.
think,
That's why.
yeah. Forget the clean sheets, but he definitely has the potential to build attacking, and we know Manchester United are among the top in terms of conceding chances. So definitely, I wouldn't put it past Cancelo to score, even though I'm going to end up selling him. Yeah, but but I agree with you that that your dilemma in trying to figure out who to bench if you do bring in Chelsea is something that you need to figure out.
That's why a lot of thinking. But currently I'm thinking of Jimenez and Son,
Yeah,
simply because I could have extra fund from it to manage 29 and 30 if there is need. Kane is I think more in terms of explosiveness and also form. I think Kane, yes,
yeah.
but I'm, I'm thinking of also game week 30 punya players. So I'm not too sure. That's what I'm thinking for now.
As someone who captained Kane last week, yes, Kane is the one, and it feels like they also they also seem to be depending on motivation. We saw that Middlesbrough game was bad, and I felt they weren't that motivated because but now they don't have that anymore, so they can
Yep. I
have
could do
one.
a -8, which is involve Kane, Coutinho for Bowen, and also Cancelo for Rudiger if I want to. I
Yeah.
could do that, but
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
So, but one thing to the viewers, obviously, don't worry too much if you're taking extra minus in a double game week. We did, both of us did this in game week 25,
6,
26,
I
yeah,
think.
26, yes, and it paid off for both of us. Yeah, we both scored decent scores, 140, 100, 30. So, yeah, but of course, those transfers that you bring in need to pay off. So you need to decide on that one. But at the same time, still plan for the following game weeks as well.
Okay. I think we almost done. Maybe we have a look at the question posted, man.
Yep. All right. Okay, hang on. Ice just gave me feedback about my camera. Yeah, I know. It keeps disappearing, so I'm just moving the camera up. Thanks, Ice, for pointing that out. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to be conscious of that. Okay, so let me see questions about your haircut.
Rakan FPL posted question Rudiger or Alonso.
Okay, so I think Hafiz says Rudiger, I say Alonso. Okay, but no doubt Rudiger is the safer pick, but because I'm more keen on the attacking returns, and that's why I think Alonso is a risky choice, but I'm happy to go for it. But
I
I'm
agree.
also bringing Havertz as well, so that I'm doubling up on Chelsea, so that's my
My answer is maybe like you mentioned Rudiger, but Rakan FPL, what is your appetite? If you go for aggressiveness, I think Alonso. If you go, the safest option is Rudiger. I think that is depend on you. What's your appetite? aggressive because you want to push
Yeah.
further and also can be more explosive? Yes.
Okay, Ice
You
also helped answer this question, and he's more keen on Rudiger as well.
okay.
All right.
Fair?
So second question is sell Cancelo for Chelsea asset. Yep. So this is something we discussed. For me, yeah, I think it's possible. But even if you keep it, it's fine as well. Yeah. The thing with Chelsea, the issue with Chelsea is that again they don't have a game in game week 30, so you'll still have that same problem. So you're pretty much banking on the fact that this double game week will pay off. Yeah.
Yes, betul. Chelsea do play double game week macam this week. Next week he has I think some favorable match also, or even though he did not play in game week 30, but same situation like City. City also won't play in game week 30. So you have extra match if let's say you bring in Chelsea asset this week. But you need to bring him this week, not next week. Okay.
All right. So question for Ice: is Havertz Mount worth getting over Saka? Okay, I'll let the Chelsea fan answer this one.
Okay, if you have Saka right now, I'll definitely keep him because he has double game week next week. He is certain in more minutes. He's I can say talisman for Arsenal. So Havertz and Mount is nothing certain, right? But although they can both of us like Azmin, we do have Havertz and Mount somewhere along this season, and we know how they can be. They cannot be so explosive, but they can be just right for their price. So I think not for Saka, not to take out
Yeah,
Saka for Havertz right now.
yeah. I tend to agree with that. I do feel that Saka is the one asset in Arsenal who you feel comfortable picking up even or still keeping in a double game week. Havertz, yeah. So yeah, not for Saka. I think you have to look elsewhere. You want to keep that. And one thing about Havertz is that I'm sure a lot of people still have bad memories of Havertz during that one where they, some people captain
Norwich against Norwich, where
over
some
Salah. Yeah,
some managers triple captain, right? Is it? Or captain
yeah,
him,
yeah.
captain him.
Yeah. So where Chelsea scored 7-0 and Havertz
Because
got
I
nothing.
have him that week. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the feeling.
So yeah, but I think that's over. I don't think we should be too worried about that one. So yeah, not for Saka. You have to go elsewhere. Yeah. So next one, Ramsey or Coutinho. Okay, this is a tough question. I have Ramsey myself at the moment, and to be honest, I think during the midweek show, I talked about captaining Coutinho. So the idea at the time was that I was going to bring him in and triple up on Aston Villa assets. Now, I'm not bringing Coutinho, but coming back to the question of whether Ramsey or Coutinho is better, I think Coutinho edges it because he has set pieces in his locker. Yeah, and we know that he can be lethal.
Yep.
As a Liverpool fan, I've seen that potential is there. So if you have the funds, I'd go Coutinho.
Yep. If you don't have fun, Ramsey is fine. I think it's fine. He will definitely play the most minutes. If you're wildcarding, maybe why not both?
Mm. Yeah. If wildcarding, why not both? Agree. And that's it. I think that's all the questions.
Last one, size or Rudiger? I saw
Oh,
Rakan FPL
okay.
posted. Maybe Rudiger. I'll go for Rudiger.
I'll
For
probably go
Chelsea.
for Yeah, I'll probably go for Rudiger as well.
But another thing about this is, let's say you pick size, you know he's going to play in game week 30. So you have that extra matches. So that's the thing. If you're thinking whether you want this both most has their pro and cons.
Yeah, when I was planning for from game week 25 onwards, and I was looking to bring in players, and I know that Wolves were in the appetite, and in game week 26, a lot of people wild carded into Wolves defense, and one of the reasons was that they're going to bench Goose in this week. I guess I'm just not confident of Wolves keeping a clean sheet in both games. Crystal Palace, we know they have the attacking assets. Obviously, Wolves are good at defense. I just felt that Crystal Palace are capable of scoring. And at the same time, Watford, okay, we know Watford are approaching desperate times, call for desperate measures, part of the season. So I just do feel that even though their goal threat has diminished, I do think it's possible that they score. The first match is against Arsenal, where they probably not going to get anything out of that one and probably not score either. But the second match, where they play Wolves, I feel that they're going to think that they can try to at least get a draw out of that one. And I feel that right now, Watford are one of those teams. I mentioned this midweek where some teams are going to start to look at which matches they can focus on to get points in, to ensure survival. And I feel this is what's going to happen. They're going to just lose against Arsenal and not, but focus on winning that game against, or at least getting a draw against Wolves on Thursday night.
Okay. Got 2 more questions and we call it off.
Okay.
Rudy or James? To me, James is uncertain for now in terms of minutes. Rudiger is the safer one. I go for Rudiger for now.
As a person with a higher risk appetite, I go for James. And the thing is, here's the thing. I'm sure we've known each other a while. And earlier this season, I was the Rudiger person. Yeah, I picked up Rudiger when you were going for Alonso. So, but now I've shifted to Alonso. But I do feel that James has a better chance at the moment.
Fair. Van Dijk to Robertson. I won't do sideways move. I think it's good enough, and Liverpool will have double game week next week. Yep.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I don't think it's the upside is good enough, especially in a single game week.
Okay. Rakat, for you, last row. Ramsdale to Jose Sa for no. Ramsdale have double game week this next week, so you need to think of that. Jose Sa do play double game week this week, but to be fair, Ramsdale has double game week next week and he plays in game week 30. So I don't think this is something that wise to move.
Because
you have.
If that -4 counted not negates the double game advantage, then I don't think it's worth going for. It's something that you need to. Depends on who your second keeper is. If your second keeper is playing 2 games next week, then then maybe, because then at least
if you have like the likes of Foster, or maybe luckily you have Dubravka, you can play him this week. I don't mind.
But I don't think he does. But for next week, I meant. Okay, so just one more thing. Just one more thing, Hafiz. I know you got to go, but I guess there's a lot of discussion going on about who's the captaincy and who's the best captain, and I think there's so many options out there. There's Coutinho, there's Rafinha, there's Salah, there's on my side there's Havertz, and people are talking about captaining Jimenez or Broja. For me, okay, so I'll just give my opinion for Broja. I don't think he's viable enough as a captain. I do think Southampton play against Newcastle, which is for me is a much improved team, especially in defense. Aston Villa, they also improved last week, and I think they'll do enough. They may not keep a clean sheet, but I think it's enough to put Broja off an asset. I don't like Jimenez as a captain option either because he's just been too inconsistent. Salah, yes, I think as we've seen single games do well, and I feel that
it's a boring one, right?
But I'm not going to captain Salah because I also have Mane to help cover, because I feel that if Salah does well, Mane will tend to also be part of it. For my part, I'm going to captain Havertz. I feel there's enough upside on the Chelsea team against 2 of the bottom teams. They on the 18th and 20th position in the league, against a team that's the number 3. Okay, so I'm going for that. I'm most likely going to go for Havertz, and I think those of you who are looking to bring in James will probably captain him as well if you're confident about his starts, and Rudiger as well as a safe captaincy option. So I'm all for that as well. Coutinho, there's a bit more risk for me with Coutinho because he could either bang or bust. but I'm happy to endorse continue as a captaincy pick for this week. Any thoughts, Hafiz?
Wow, you cover everything, man. So
Yeah, those are all the key. Because I feel that it's been discussed
yeah,
so much in terms of the captaincy, and
yeah.
one more, which is Rafinha. I feel Rafinha is too dangerous as a captaincy pick. You know, if you have him, fine, play him, but because we really need to see how Jesse March sets his team up. If it becomes a defense, obviously he's got that mentality as Bielsa was attacking first. But if the problems are in defense, then he may need to do something about that first. Yeah.
I don't know. This week I might try your methods, which is single game weeks. So I might go for Salah. We'll see how it goes. Okay.
There's one.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. See you again next week. Hope we wish you all the best for this game week. In whatever you're doing, transferring or even doing wildcard. Okay. All the best. Min, your last word.
Okay, all the best, and you can transfer now. It's fine. I don't think there'll be any changes, and all the best, and may the force be with you.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.